You can master the body. You can master the mind. Our inner thoughts are not monologues. They are dialogues. We back with another reflection on the daily Vedantic, talking TDV. And it's another day with surf hair. Surf hair don't care. You ever do this when you were a kid? With your neck? I remember doing that in the mirror and always just being like, what's going on? It was almost like a horror movie to see all the veins in your neck pop out. And I remember going to the Natural History Museum, and they'd have like a rubber anatomical version of a body that would show all of the muscles and bones and sinewy nerves of the human body. And I remember just being so disgusted by that. Seeing the body, you think you just know the body because you look at it all the time. You look at yours, you look at others. And yet, how to use your body takes years. How to use it really well, decades. And yet when it comes to the mind, we just think that, yeah, everybody just knows how to use it. It would be like being like, well, everybody has a body, so anyone could play in the NBA. Anyone could be extremely talented at utilizing their body on par with everyone else. When it comes to the mind, we just think like, well, that's just, you have a mind, so you should be able to be on par with anyone else that has a mind. And yet the truth is you have to learn how to use your mind. Living, as is said within the philosophy of Vedanta, living is an art form, a skill, a technique, and it must be learned like any other skill, technique, or art form. You can master the body, you can master the mind. Perhaps the fundamental contribution towards practical life within the philosophy of Vedanta is that you have three equipments to navigate life, to navigate the world: your body, your mind, and another inner equipment called the intellect. We talk about this often on this podcast. Same for Yoga for Your Intellect. I'm wearing a YFYI t-shirt right now. For the other podcast that I host with my teacher, Joseph, it's more of a long form conversational podcast. Basically, the weekly conversations I've had with him for almost a decade. Now we record them, put them online. And Yoga for Your Intellect is learning how to utilize, master the mind through the cultivation and the development of the intellect, that higher, subtler inner equipment that we all have, that no other philosophy tells us we have. But intuitively, we know there is a dialogue that goes on within us. In fact, that's a huge new realm of discovery within cognitive science, is that thoughts are not monologues. Our inner thoughts are not monologues. They are dialogues. It's called, within psychology and cognitive science, they call it System 1 and System 2 thinking. And this is brain spanking new, bleeding edge cognitive science in the last few years. Dual systems thinking is what it's called. But this has been in the philosophical texts of Vedanta for 5,000 years. Two inner equipments. Obviously, body. We all know we have a body. Mind. Not going to be groundbreaking to tell someone they have a mind, but they have a subtler inner equipment called the intellect. That is there to guide the mind. The metaphorical example that is used quite often to describe the difference between the mind and the intellect, and that I've said in this podcast a number of times, is that the mind is like a raging river, a powerful river, and the intellect is like the banks of that river. A powerful mind, a powerful raging river that has weak banks. Well, too much rain floods the plainlands, kills the livestock, destroys everything in its path. A powerful river with strong banks. You can build multiple civilizations on a powerful river with strong banks. The cultivation, the development of the intellect, that is what this philosophy is all about. Well, it's not what it's all about, but I will say, between the absolute truths and the relative plane in which we exist, that's what this entire relative existence is about, is developing the intellect, which is defined as the capacity to see the end in the beginning. Synonymous with wisdom, the capacity to see the end in the beginning. That is what we're called to do each day. And when we do cultivate that capacity to see the end in the beginning, that capacity to see that, oh, the mind is trying to tell me to do this, and that's where it will lead. We're going to do this other thing instead. That cultivation, the development of the intellect, the strengthening of that intellect to be the strong banks for a powerful mind in the midst of a powerful body, because this philosophy is also clear to develop firm limbs to be of utmost use to yourself and to those around you. When you have this alignment of a powerful mind, body, and an intellect guiding it all, you are unstoppable in anything you set out to do. Unstoppable in anything you set out to do. Everything you do in life is rendered attractive by those onlookers. Say, wow, Joe, Jane, Sarah, Smita, Arjuna, they're really good at XYZ, whatever it is that they do. You take these examples to the highest examples throughout history, and those people end up being lighthouses for thousands of years, for communities all around the world, still using them as examples because of that immense alignment, that mastery of themselves. As Muhammad said, the greatest jihad is the conquest of oneself. Therefore, a life well lived is not just luck. It's not a series of external events just going well for a person. It is that person's capability to master their mind, to direct their mind and their body, the mastery of themselves, mastery of the art form, the skill that is life. Becoming an amazing athlete doesn't just happen. There might be some resources that are given in the beginning, but it is through cultivation, countless hours of mastery. And then we look in awe and say, wow, look what they're capable of. This philosophy says that each of us are capable of mastering life. Mastering anything that we set out to. And this philosophy says that each of us are capable of mastering life through mastering ourselves. And it starts with the development of the intellect that guides the mind, that directs the body. An alignment of those three that makes you unstoppable. Living life well doesn't just happen. It is through years, if not decades, of cultivation, a mastery of yourself. in the equipments you've been given. That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.